Hey guys, what's up? We're going to be talking about Guild Wars in 2020 and should you play Guild Wars. I'm going to be explaining what Guild Wars does for me and how does it apply to me as far as like, an MMORPG. Like where do I think Guild Wars at? And this is all based on, my experience of playing the game, and that's the best way I know how to tell you guys about the game. So this is a Guild Wars 2020 video, whatever. It's not going to go into too much depth. I'm just pretty much going to kind of explain to you guys why the game's appealing to me and why I think that you should play Guild Wars 2 and why I continue to play Guild Wars 2 to this day. So if you come from a game like Black Desert or World of Warcraft or something like that, I'm going to give you little things or whatever that maybe you can kind of relate to. Yeah, I would say relate to in some sort of fashion or whatever, because I've played them all and there's things I absolutely love about both of those games, World of Warcraft and Black Desert. And I'm about to die right now. No, I'm not. Oh yes I am. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Later, nerd. Okay, dude, you are in trouble, bro. Who do you think you're messing with right now? Huh? You thought, bro? Okay, so I had to handle that frog because he was getting all hippity hoppity on me, right? So if you come from Black Desert, one thing you're going to really appreciate is the lack of gear progression in this game. You can pretty much hit ceiling on gear power, whatever, fairly early on after hitting max level. For some games, this might be a big problem, but Guild Wars kind of focus on the whole game being the adventure rather than there just being in-game. Now, there is a somewhat type of in-game to this game, but really Guild Wars is one of the first games that is kind of like a living world. It's like a living sandbox type world, right? And it's cool because there's sandbox and there's like story that actually drives you through the content and stuff like that. And the story is, it's the only MMORPG that has story like console games, you know what I mean, like those single player great games that we used to play back in the day on console, right? So some people argue Final Fantasy story is very boring, long and drawn out compared to Guild Wars story. Guild Wars story is voiced, it's really good. I would say that Elder Scrolls is the only other MMORPG that gives you a story even halfway close to the story here, and that's kind of reaching slightly. Now I know a lot of people are going to dislike that comment, whatever, but I just find it to be true, and I've played all of these games, so that's my opinion. On a flip side, you have the lack of gear progression. If you're coming from World of Warcraft, we know that in World of Warcraft they have some decent story or whatever if you're into the whole lore of the game or whatever, right? They have some really cool side quests and stuff like that. That's really cool, right? But Guild Wars has all of that. Guild Wars has side quests, Guild Wars has main quests, it has, on top of that, it has no restrictions or whatever of what you can do. So that's why I said, like, it's kind of like a sandbox type MMORPG, but not really. And what I mean by that is because you're not forced to do anything that you don't want in this game. Nothing's going to stop you from doing certain content. Like, you're not going to be like, oh, you have to do this quest line or storyline from a certain area in order to make it here or there, right? It's not like Final Fantasy where they're going to force you to go through like a whole week or a whole month worth of questing in order to get to the next expansions and stuff like that. The only thing that stops you from getting to the expansions in this game is level. So you can pretty much find any way you want to level and level. Now in World of Warcraft, the gear progression system is something that we come to love. Like every 3 months we go through a whole new situation where we're re-gearing up or whatever to fight the next big bad guy, and that is absolutely fun for me. I love that or whatever, but I got used to the whole Guild Wars thing and I understand why they don't want gear progression. Although I still feel like if they added gear progression into this game some sort of way, like, and they do have some sort of gear progression, don't get me wrong. If they didn't, they would only have one set. So they do have multiple sets, but it's ridiculous. You'll learn that later. I'm not going to go too deep into that. So if you're coming from WoW, you're going to miss the gear progression. That's probably going to be the biggest determined thing of you leaving the game, right? And if you're coming from Black Desert, you're going to appreciate that, right? And you're going to appreciate having different avenues of game to play. So you're going to have multiple different ways to PvP, where in Black Desert you pretty much have one way. You either run into people and do 1v1s, right? Or you go into the arena and you do 1v1s or group or whatever, where you're expecting stuff. But the most fun in Black Desert for PvP is, I don't think it's no war or sieges or anything. It's basically fighting over spots and running into people out in the open world that are fairly matched gear with you, and just having a decent one-on-one or whatever. You know, you kill them, they kill you, you kill them, and then they call friends, and you're all killing each other back and forth. Those are the most fun PvP moments in Black Desert for me. As far as the rest of the PvP in Black Desert, it's very lackluster. It's pretty much all complete sandbox. There's no real story to the game or whatever. It's more like they added some type of story or whatever to the game to try to appease people or whatever, but it just, there's not really any PvE in that game whatsoever. So that's going to be a breath of fresh air coming from Black Desert to Guild Wars, because you're going to be like, holy crap, there is so much PvP in this game, there's so much PvE in this game, there's dungeons, there's raids, anything you want to get into. And the thing is, it's in a sandbox type layout, because you don't have to do any of it. There's people that go 10 years, I would say 10 years, but there's people that go 4 or 5 years without doing a certain part of the game. They're just like, hey, I don't do World vs. World, never stepped out of there, won't ever go out of there. I don't do raids, will never go into raids. I just purely do achievements and stuff like that, and dungeons. They even have multiple different dungeon systems. They have fractals, which are kind of like hardcore dungeons or whatever. The mechanics are a little bit more testing and trying. And then you have regular dungeons where it's kind of like it's taped into your story. I wouldn't say taped into your story, but it's into your story. And also you can do them outside of your story for some rewards as well. And you can get the benefits to doing that stuff or whatever is making gold, as well as basically collecting all the dungeon sets. Like, there's people that do collect all the armor looks and stuff like that, all the transmog in the game. I'm saying transmog or whatever because I don't have a better word for it, but you guys know exactly what I mean. So those are things that's going to appeal to World of Warcraft players, and going to appeal to Black Desert players, right? So you have really good PvP, and it's like a mixture between the two. Some people think that World of Warcraft combat is too slow, and some people think that Black Desert combat is a little bit too fast-paced or a little bit too still, and they want a more traditional MMO. Well, Guild Wars is right in between, so it gives you that nice combat feel where you can just, like, you know, be fast and kind of be out in the world and stuff like that. And also you have skills and stuff like that that you can use that kind of give your character a little bit more character. It makes your character feel like he's actually playing a role, and that's really fun. Where in Black Desert, some people have complained about characters only being able to either melee or do half range or something like that, and sometimes that's just the way it is, guys. That is just the way it is. So another thing to look forward to in Guild Wars, right? So now we're only talking about Guild Wars. I just wanted to state some things that would appeal to both of those type of players coming from those MMORPGs. And now we're talking about meta events and just events that are in the world, period, right? So in the world, you have tons of events. Remember I told you it's like a sandbox. You do what you want. So you have event here, event here, event here, and all these events tie into something, into creating a meta. So once you do all these events, and most maps, what will happen is the map will open up a massive event. Now what this means is it turns into a meta, and what a meta is pretty much a massive group event. Like, I don't know how else to like kind of explain it or whatever, but it's really fun. And just about every high level map in Guild Wars has these things, and even low level maps have events. Like, all the maps have events, but metas are typically only for like high level maps and stuff like that. So metas is something that is kind of in game, and you do them to make money and just to have fun and play with friends and stuff like that. So like, as you can see, this one's getting overwhelmed. There's a lot of people in here, and I can't really help these people while I'm making a video. I can't focus. I can only do one thing at a time, so I'm gonna bust up out of here and leave these guys for dead, sadly. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. you know. So we don't worry, guys. We no one said that we were good guys, right? We play a Reaper as our main, okay? So no one said that we were good people. So the game, as you can see, is brimming with life. Like, this is just a random map, and there's so many people all over this place, you know what I mean? And this isn't like a mainstream map, guys. This isn't, let me see, let's just teleport to a random place, right? So we're gonna teleport to Queensdale. Queensdale is another one of those maps where it's just a starter area. Let's see if we can find people here. So already we hit M. Wait, and yeah, there's an event going on down here. Let's see if we can join a squad. Let's see if this squad has anyone. Okay, actually we weren't able to join that squad. Let's see what's going on down there though. So this is a small area, and there's a skull right here, so that means someone's dead. Wait, is this a person? This is a NPC actually. I don't know why that showed up like that, but it's a Guild Wars thing. You get used to it, guys. Just resin random people. Trust me, if you're in a quest or something and you die and you don't want to run back and you're just like annoyed and you don't have your mounts or anything like that or whatever, trust me, you're gonna actually enjoy that situation. So what's going on down here? Up at World Boss. So here's another thing we have. World Bosses. So now I'm gonna pop in here and participate into this. Oh, this, I think we have to kill all these things or whatever. Actually, couldn't go through that. So World Boss is another thing that Black Desert has. They have several World Boss. They're all dragons. I think they're all dragons except for this guy. I don't know what this dude is. He's kind of like a dragon, right? But they have all sorts of things like this, and they have all sorts of mechanics, and people farm these around the clock. So you'll never come to one of these and it'll just be dead, just sitting there. What I mean by that, like, is the boss just sitting there spawned in the world and no one's there, because people are all over the place. This is one game that stays super populated. If you want to play an MMORPG where you don't have to worry about like the game just being so absolutely dead, this is the perfect MMORPG for you. If you are the type of people or whatever that play games just because of friends, like you're just like, and I'm not saying that you should do that or a game should be like that, right? But what I'm saying is, if you're one of those people that majority of your experience in an MMORPG is based on your friends or based on who's going to be playing with you, and you don't care how good an MMORPG is if there's no one to play with, then this is the game for you. This is what you should be playing, because there's no way you're not going to find a group that to play with in this game. There's absolutely no way. I don't see it. I don't believe it. It's just not possible, guys. I don't have a lot of time or whatever to play games, and I still find groups in guilds that are absolutely amazing, that understand that I have like a crazy schedule or whatever, and I can't play every day. Crap, I can't even play every week, right? I'm struggling to keep videos out here for you guys. So these people are just a different breed of people, you know. These are people that just absolutely care, and I don't know how else to like really put that, but I've never felt anything like that in any other game that I've ever played. You know, I've never had like such a huge sense of community like you do here. So you guys should definitely look into this game if that's what type of person you are, right? So another cool thing is you can play the same class for almost years in this game, and I'm a testament to that because I've been playing Necromancer forever, right? I don't know why, I just love it. I come back to it, and I've played several other classes. Let me show you. So I have a bunch of classes, and I've deleted tons. So I've had every class at max level multiple times, and I'm not even joking with you guys. I even have multiple of some classes. And I just need to unlock more character slots so I can stop deleting characters, because that's really sad, and I wish I could get some of my characters back that I deleted, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, right? So the game has so many classes to play, and each one of the classes has 2 different subclasses, and the subclass is almost like a completely different class, right? It's not just like, oh, it adds a couple skills like Dragoness or something like that, like 2 skills. and they just call that a day or whatever. Like, they go into completely different play modes and they could do completely different things. So the cool thing is, in most games you'll find a character that has the theme that you want. Maybe he's like a dark class and you're just like, oh man, he's so cool, he can be all dark. But you know that what's the chances of you being able to do something like support on that class? Or what's the chances of you being able to heal on a class like that? You know, most likely that class is just for, like, you know, the spreading of diseases and also doing damage, right? It's a dark class. And Guild Wars, there's not many classes in the game that can't do some of everything. So if you want to be a tanky class, like a bunker class, all the classes are capable. So in this class, you just find whatever aesthetic that fits you the most. Like, you know, if you want to play like that guardian paladin type knight class, there is one, and that class is capable of doing multiple things, whatever. Like, even the guardian class in this game can even wear a bow with one of its subclasses, right? So you kind of have things that you don't have on any other MMORPG, and that's one thing I really love find in this game, that a lot of the classes are unique. A lot of them will have the same familiar faces that you see in other games. Like, they're capable of being like a wizard or a witch or something like that, but they're also capable of doing so much more, and no one can ever really tell what type of necro you are. Well, obviously veterans can. So if you played a necro, it doesn't matter what subclass you have. After I see you do like one skill or something like that, or a couple skills, I would absolutely know what you do. But it's a vast world. I'm not going to go into, you know, showing you guys every single map there is in this game. You can see now I have world completion for the first map, and you can play throughout this whole map without buying anything. So as always, guys, take care. If you'd like to support my channel, you can always click one of the links below to play the game for free. You guys can support the channel. It's no extra charge to you guys. So if you're planning on buying an expansion or whatever, you have a friend that plan on buying an expansion, it'll just help me out, right?